Hello, friends. Today's topic of discussion is digital circuits. So, in computer organization and design, circuits play a very important role. You can say it like circuits are the building blocks of any of the electronic gadget. So, that is why it is very important to understand what the circuits are, how these can be created, and what are its various types. So, let's start a deep dive into understanding the concept of digital circuits. So, this is the agenda of today's lecture series. First, we will learn about what the circuits are and what are its various types. Then, we will talk a brief about the types of the circuits, which could be the combinational and sequential circuit. We will learn about the characteristics of these different types of the circuits, and then in the last part we will just make a comparison between the two different circuits, being it combinational and sequential circuits. So this is the first part, digital circuits. So as the name implies here, it is digital circuits. So the whenever there is a key term digital in the electronics, so it always means the discrete values. So these discrete values in terms of computer are always 0 and 1, because we know that our computer machine, the modern computer machines, can only understand the language of 0 and 1. So definitely whenever there will be a key term digital in any of the electronic gadget, it means that it is talking about zeros and ones, binary numbers. Okay, so what are the digital circuits? Digital circuits are the circuits where the signals must be in one of the two levels, right? Either on or off. So if I again describe you further about the digital circuits, we know that digital circuits are working on digital clocks. So digital clock simply says either the value is high or the value is low. So means this is how the digital clock pulse works. So either the clock pulse will be at the zeroth level or it could be at the first level. So idea here is that either the signal will be turning on, means on here means the one, or the signal will be off, there is no signal, that will be at the zeroth level. So digital circuits will simply define the circuits where the signal must be at least on one of these conditions. Either it could be at the level 1, which means the signal is present, or it could be at the level 0. It means the signal is not available. So it is typically constructed from small electronic circuits. So who are the building blocks of the circuits? Circuits can be learned easily if we know the logics behind the logic gates. So if you know about the logic gates like and, or, not, then it would be easy for you to understand the concept of the circuits. So these are the basic building blocks to design a circuit. So here is the different types of logic circuits. So whenever I'm saying circuits can be described from the logic gates, so as the name implies, from the logic, if logic gates, if I'm designing the circuits, so then I will call them as the logic circuits as well. So here is the broad categorization of the logic circuits. The very first one here is the combinational circuits. So one type which is important to understand in terms of computer organization and design is that logic circuits can be of combinational type, or these can be sequential by its type. So these are the two broad categories of the logic circuits. So let's understand about the combinational circuits first in detailed manner. So this is a combinational circuit. If you look at the block diagram of this combinational circuit, then you will get to know that combinational circuit is taking some number of input values, being it n could be any random number, being it two input values, or it could be four, it could be three, something like that, right? So based upon these input values, I am able to generate some outputs. So these outputs are M. It means it can be the case if I am providing two input values, then I can expect the three outputs. Okay, so means this number may vary. The number of inputs that we are providing within the combinational circuit may result in m number of output values. So let's discuss in more detail about what these combinational circuits are consisting of. So the first thing is, as its name is combinational, right? So we have already learned that circuits can be designed from the logic gates. So simple thing, the simple approach is that whenever I will have the ability to create or design a circuit by using combinations of different logic gates, then I could call them as a combinational circuits. I am talking about a group of combinational logic gates, being it could be any kind of logic gate combined together. It could be like two OR gates are connected within one circuit, one OR, one AND, one NOR, or any XOR or XNOR is connected together. So any kind of any combination of different logic gates grouped together will make a combinational circuit. So these consist of combinations of different logic gates with a set of inputs and some set of outputs. So this is the idea behind a combinational circuit. So combinational circuits have some of the characteristics which make them unique in its nature. The very first thing is that if you will again look at this block diagram, then you could know that the combinational circuits output of the combinational circuit, the output is purely dependent upon the kind of input which we are giving here. Means there is not any external factor responsible for providing you the output. So even in the case of logic gates also, what we are doing, we are giving some inputs, right? We are having A and B as an input to any of the logic gate. Then from those logic gates, depending upon the kind of logic gate we are having, we are able to generate any output value, being it in the form of Y. So same is the case here. The output in case of combinational circuits will purely dependent upon the input value only. Whatsoever input value we will be providing to the group of those logic gates, it will be responsible for providing me the output value. So this is what is the case. Output of any combinational circuit will purely dependent upon the kind of input variables we are providing to the circuit. So combinational circuits do not require memory. It is very important to understand this case. So normally, generally we know that in the computer, there are some components which are responsible for storage of data. But if we are talking about the circuits of type combinational, then there is nothing like a storage element being there. So combinational circuits do not possess any kind of memory, so they don't store any kind of data. So it is simply like you will be giving some input values. Based upon those input values in the combinational circuits, you will be getting some sort of input values, output values. So this is what you are going to have. That's it. So any combinational circuits can deliver m number of outputs based upon n input values. So let me describe you this thing in little detail, because the majority of you would be having some trouble in understanding the concept of what is the meaning of the term m outputs and what is the meaning of the term n inputs. A simple example for the combinational circuit can be taken as an adder. Okay, so adder could be any kind of adder, being it an half adder or it is being it a full adder. So my agenda here is that the adder is responsible for providing me two things. I can either get the sum of a number, right, or I can either get a carry of a number. So means within from an adder, I would be able to get the sum as well as a carry. Now carry is optional. We might get carry in some cases or we might not get carry in some cases. So let's take a two-digit number, being it sorry, three-digit number. I am taking 101 plus 101. So It means the input variables here are three. So 1 plus 1 will lead 0 as a sum and 1 as a carry. So 1 plus 0 will be 1 as a sum, and there is no carry being generated, right? So 1 plus 1 is actually 0 and there is 1 as a carry. So whenever I provide the input of three variables, now I am able to get the output of four variable. So this is what is the meaning of the term. I might be the case that I can get m output values from n number of inputs being provided in certain cases, right? So this is one of the good example of understanding the combinational circuit. Rest, if I have to tell you about what are the examples of combinational circuit, then other than the adders, there are other examples too in terms of combinational circuits. For an example, decoder is a very good example of combinational circuit, right? Decoder, encoder, then muxes, then multiplexers. These all are the examples of combinational circuits. Adders and many arithmetic number subtractors, these all are the examples of combinational circuits. So what they are providing me in terms of combinational circuits, I would be getting one logic for like if I take the example of an adder again. So what I was getting in the adder was providing me a sum and a carry, right? So in the sum part, I would be having some boolean expression been there. Same is in the form of a carry part. So sum can be taken from any particular logic gate. Same is the case of carry. I can get the carry in any of the another form of the logic gate. So the combination of both sum and carry will yield the combinational circuit. So this is the meaning of term. I am only using the logic gates. There is no concept of any memory storage element. There is nothing like states being there. There is nothing like a concept of clock pulses being used within the circuit. So combinational circuits are you could say that highly simplified in its nature. So let's discuss about another types of circuits. We call them as sequential circuits. So what these sequential circuits are? Sequential circuits consist of a group of combinational circuits, right? This is the first characteristics, as well as it is also have some memory elements stored in them. So what exactly are the combination of sequential circuits? Combinational circuits along with the memory element, they will be providing me the sequential circuits. So they have the capability to store the data. So this is what is the characteristics of a sequential circuit. So let's again look at the block diagram of sequential circuits. So sequential circuits are able to get some inputs. Those inputs will be going into the combinational circuits, which are nothing but the group of different logic gates, right? So here, along with it, the combinational circuits are also getting some any past storage value. There would be any storage value stored in this storage element. It could be anything, being it a flip flop or something like that. So the storage element, the memory element will store any data, and that could also be given as an input to this combinational circuit. So depending upon the input provided as well as the storage element been there, I am able to receive some output value. So this is how the sequential circuits work. One more thing to remember in case of sequential circuits is that these circuits requires the clock pulses to operate this kind of circuits. So clocks will play a vital role in case of designing a sequential circuits. So let's understand some of the characteristics that sequential circuits have. The very first characteristics is how I am able to get the output. So how the output is being generated? Output is equal to the present input value, right? So this is the first part, as well as the previous state result. So previous state result is nothing but the memory element that I was talking about. The memory element would be able to store certain data. So states are the new concept here. Let me elaborate a little bit more about the states here. States are nothing but like what was the value when the previous clock pulse arrives. Simple example is like at this point of time, you are attending a lecture, you are listening to me, you are listening to this session, right? So this is the present state, your present state. So your present state says that the signal is available, the clock is active, means clock is at the one position, right? So if I talk about the previous session, what you were doing before, what was the previous state of yours? So in case of previous state, I could be saying that you were not attending this particular session, so your state was equals to 0. So this value 0, or it could be 1 also, it will be stored in the memory element, okay, area, and from there only this value will be taken, and whenever we have to work with the combinational sorry sequential circuits. So this is what is the idea of states here. So all the sequential circuits will work upon the state variables. We always talk about the present state value, next state value, or sometimes about the previous state value also. So these are the three state variable or three states where my clock can depict any of the result. So the next thing is circuits are responsible for storing the data, as we have already understood that they will be storing the data, so they are requiring the memory. So where they will be able to store the data, these are nothing but the circuits. How the circuits store the data? So they require some memory. So a simplest example of this particular case is the flip-flops. If you remember, or if you are aware that flip-flops are nothing but the simplified, or these are responsible for storing one bit of data. Okay, so it is having either you can store one value into the flip-flop, or you can store zero into the flip-flop. So this is how the flip-flops are working. Simply what we say is that flip-flops help us in storing the elements, storing the data within the sequential circuits. Then later on, so in order to work upon, or in order to analyze what is happening in the present moment or in the present state, or what will happen in the next state, or what was happening in the previous state, so I need clock signals. So clock signal will operate within a particular instant of time, so accordingly they would be able to depict the result. So this is normally a digital clock signal. This is how it will came. uh, 0 is the low signal and 1 is the high signal. So whenever the class will continue, let's suppose I am taking the session, so this clock is actually in the high state like this. So whenever I will discontinue it, I will turn it off, it will ultimately leave to the low level. So this would be, so this will be my present state, this will be my next state, and this will be my previous state. Or it might be the case that after some time, or even in the next state, in the next hour, you could say it is also in the high level. So this is how we can determine the clock signals. So it is very important to understand how the clocks are working in the sequential circuits, because mainly these are only the clock signals which are responsible for generating the results here. Okay, so let's sum up what we have learned so far. So we started a discussion from the circuits. I told you that how the circuits are being designed. So basically, the building blocks of circuits are nothing but the logic gates. So broadly, two categories are there: combinational circuits and sequential circuits. So combinational circuits have certain characteristics, like these are simplistic in nature. Sequentials are little bit, you could say that, complex. So combinational circuits are nothing but a group of logic gates. When I talk about sequential circuits, they are group of combinational circuits along with memory element. So I could say that group of logic gates here, one and the same thing. Okay, logic gates as well as the memory element. So output in the combinational circuits purely depending upon the present input only. Only input variables are responsible for generating the output. But in case of sequential circuit, it will depend upon the present state value as well as the previous state value. Okay, so this is what the state variables will play a vital role in case of sequential circuits. So combinational circuits do not require any kind of memory, as they are not responsible for storing any particular data. So sequential circuits mainly store data, so they require memory. So in the last part, combinational circuits, the concept of state variable is not used. So definitely we are not using the concept of what is the previous state value, what is the next state value, and what will be the present state value. Because we know that we don't require it. Output will purely depend upon the input values, the input variables that are coming to the combinational circuits. That's it. But here we need to use the concept of state variables. Reason being, they would be storing some elements, some data. So if there is some already some data is been present within the machine, I might need to reset the data or update the data. So for that particular reason, I need to know about the state variables. So I hope you guys have understood this lecture of sequential and combinational circuits. If you have any doubt, you can ping me. Thank you so much.